She walks in love like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies, her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Allie.
Hey.
I was thinking throughout that entire intro, what's Allie's middle name? Have you ever said what your middle name was? And you don't have to share it.
It's Aaron.
Aaron. Okay, I knew that, but I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I've told you. I know that we've talked about it before
Yep.
during emails, at least. when somebody emailed named Aaron, and probably other times too. But yeah.
Allie, Aaron, Alex. Wait. Alex, Aaron, Erickson?
Alexandra Aaron Erickson.
Alexandra Aaron Erickson. Oh, that's a mouthful.
I know it is. As a child, I was like, why is my name so long? I remember thinking it was the longest first name ever.
No, I like it. So it's A-E-E.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why it was going through my mind. I'm like, in the 2-minute intro, this is where my mind goes. But I'm like, do I know Allie's middle name? I know what Allie's middle. I don't remember what her middle. I'm thinking Allie Marie. No, what's her middle name? And then Allie Aaron Erickson. A-E-E. I feel like that doubles as your first and middle and first and last. That's cool.
Yeah, like American Eagle, but with an extra E, you know?
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
That's funny.
Hi, guys. Yeah, Harley, I wish you the best with that. Sorry. I'm sitting here like the whole time they're into play, and I'm just like I'm antsy waiting to ask you because I'm like, what is it? I don't remember.
That's freaking funny. I'm sorry.
Hi, Michael. What if anyone feels it is a pretty name, Kimberly? I was about to say because a lot of people have really good middle names, and if you guys feel comfortable, let me know what your guys' middle names are in the chat. I'm interested. Hi, Brandy. Yes. Okay. So, if anybody remembers the last episode we left off, I think it was Sunday night, was over on Allie's, and if anybody isn't already aware, we have dual playlists. So you can find a playlist on my channel. You can find a playlist on her channel because it's a collaborative series, but you could watch all of them in order so you could keep up. Mine's Jade, Curious Christine. it's Melissa Jade. But what is it called? We last left off with George Anthony as witness number 1, and he is called as the state's witness. And so we just got done with direct examination. And so where we paused was right when prosecution rests for now with George, but reserves the right to recall him at a later time, which we know he's going to get called multiple times. But this is the first time now that Jose is going to be going for cross-examination and then redirect. If they choose to do so, they probably may not, depending on, because they're going to be calling him at a later time. And welcome, Cool Cat. Thank you for becoming a member. So
it's a big deal tonight.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's going to be emotional. So just prepare. Yeah. We have Maria. Oh, thank you, Shelly Bean, for 13 months. Offended because Aunt Brenda renamed Tisha with mine. Lynn. Shelly Bean Lynn. Hi, Cece McGee. Harlot Natasha. Okay, so we have Lee. I go by my middle name, Liz. First and middle is Mary Elizabeth. Yeah, I don't want any of you guys to dox yourselves or anything. I'm just curious with middle names. But that's a very pretty name. Bogart says, Teresa, Suzanne, Rose, Katrina, Nancy, Lee. I like Lee with the IGH. Beth, Summer, Lee. Another Lee. We have a lot of. Look, another Lee. Irene.
Yeah,
Anne, Melanie. Hi, Kitty. William for Homer. I'm still laughing that Curious Christine asked what one.
I've asked you that before I knew. I remember.
You know what? I've been asked, Cool Cat, did you become a member 3 times? I'm so confused if my thing is glitching out or what, but you keep becoming a member.
No, it's not glitching. It's at 8:34 and 8:36. Sorry to interrupt, but yes, there's multiple memberships, new ones.
How strange. Well, thank you for becoming a member. But yeah, no, I've actually been asked many times what my middle name is, and I think it's obvious, but apparently not. Some people didn't believe Melissa Jade was my real name, like it was like a made up name. No. Like,
yeah.
Name. I'm ready to get angry. I was always Team George. Ooh, I know. Corinne. I don't have one. I was waiting for someone because I knew there was going to be someone who says I don't have one. I know there's a few people I've met in my life that said I was never given a middle name.
Yes, I was literally about to ask you, do you know anybody who doesn't? Because my mom doesn't.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, Emily. I love it. Anne Pointer Lover. Oh, Lee, another Lee. You know what? I feel like generation for generation. Yeah, I have a confirmation name as well, Fusili Jamie. It is, oh shit. I shouldn't have cursed while trying to figure out what my confirmation name is. It's something that was so stupid and had no meaning at all. I just thought it was pretty. It was something with an H. I don't remember.
Is that like for some kind of religious thing or something?
Yeah, for your confirmation. When you're supposed to choose your confirmation name. So you have your baptism, your communion, and then your confirmation, and then you choose a name. And so mine didn't have any relevance other than I wanted to choose something pretty.
Aw, it's cute.
Jack, attention MJ fans, this is a big time Jocks. MJ has pictures of her in Disney princess attire. You know what, Jack? That was supposed to be private. How dare you? How dare you? But thank you for the doxing support. Yeah. So, all right. St. Anne was my I love it. Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say, like, anyone else have their parents, like when they call you by their middle name, because I had to break past the Melissa Jade, because that's when I got in trouble by my mom.
Yeah. I know that the middle name, or even for me, the full first name, I know that I'm in trouble. And I bet you that was weird when first people started calling you that at first. You're like, oh.
Yeah. Well, there were my friends, who would call. I actually went by Mel growing up, which nobody calls me here on YouTube, which is fine. But I had a few people call me MJ. But yeah, it was more of a thing that came about on YouTube because I associate it with my mom yelling at me.
Right.
Yeah, it got serious when they started pulling out the middle names. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn Coops. Okay. Why isn't my... Okay. Can you see the missing child?
Yep. I
Okay.
see.
So our missing child for tonight's live stream is Talia Raquel Hollins. Look at that princess crown, okay? She has been missing since May 26, 2024 out of the Bronx, New York. She is 4 years old and she may be in the company of her mom. And I think that's a birthday. I think it's a birthday princess crown. She looks adorable, beautiful little girl.
Yeah, beautiful.
She looks older than 4, doesn't she, in the face? Her face is very mature.
Yeah. Is she wearing like maybe some makeup there or something?
Maybe, because I'm like, damn, you are a beautiful 4-year-old. My goodness.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so sad. Ugh.
I know. So if anybody has information, please contact the New York City Police Department at 1718-542-0888. Talia Raquel Hollins. Okay. So we are I know, little princess. Okay. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm nervous for this. I think I'm nervous because I know the emotions it's going to elicit, Allie.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do our best.
Yeah.
So we literally paused it right here. I know we paused it right here because it was right when state is going to end and Jose is going to come up. So prepare. We're going to get angry. But we're gonna do our best. Do they really, Lisa? That's a doggable. I love that.
I wonder if he is as animated and intense during questioning as when he's speaking to the jury, you know? I guess we'll
we're
see.
literally about to find out, right? Is he gonna be acute? Because he said what he said at opening statements with his whole chest. And I wonder how he's gonna say it to George.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Here we go. Oh, and they have closed captions. Perfect.
Knew of anything that happened to Kaylee until our life started to unfold on July 15, 2008, and when Kaylee was found on December 11th.
Your Honor, I have no further questions of the witness at this time. I would like to reserve the right to recall him for additional areas of testimony.
Cross-examination.
Okay, so that's literally where we ended. I like to jump a minute back. And thank you, Homer. Love you guys, even though I haven't met any of you guys. This community is great. We love and appreciate you, Homer. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your support. Hi, Emily, too, by the way. It's been a bit. All right. Ready?
Oh, I'm ready. That face she was making, remember when she paused right there.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm nervous too, but I'm ready.
And for anyone who was on that last episode on Allie's, as it was just the last minute that prosecution had asked George, have you ever sexually assaulted your child? Have you, were you involved? And no. And as he said no, and it was heartbreaking, Casey was just adamantly shaking her head no, like, how dare you lie type of thing. She is putting it on
big time
for the jury. And yeah, that bump it's holding strong, Nancy. But okay, here we go. I'm glad that you're back, Emily. I missed you. Oh, don't make me cry this early.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, I imagine that the feeling in the air in these moments must have been.
Sir Anthony, when did you first find out your daughter was pregnant?
I agree. It must have been very intense. Even in the room, it must have been heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The first question he asked was, Mr. Anthony, when did you find out your daughter was pregnant? Thank you, Kitty, so much for the support, hon. I know, Cece. I know. Ugh.
I believe it was sometime in May or June of 2005.
So she was 7 months pregnant when you first found out?
6, 7 months. It could have been right around that time, yes.
Do you recall going to a wedding that was Cindy's brother's wedding?
I went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but I did not attend the wedding.
Were you ever confronted by Rick, her brother, about Casey's pregnancy?
We had a brief discussion about it, but I've told Rick it was none of his concern, none of his business. Whatever was going on with Casey would be handled through Cindy and I. We're there for Casey. You don't have to worry about it.
So is it your testimony today that you knew she was pregnant and you just didn't want him to know, or you didn't know she was pregnant at the time?
I didn't have an exact knowledge of the time that she was, when I found out that she was pregnant, I didn't have that exact knowledge at that time. Did I have a feeling? Possibly, yes, no. But no, I mean, I did see a change physically in Casey, but nothing that I know that Cindy and I weren't going to, help her with or attend to.
So right off the bat, Allie, he's trying to destroy his credibility.
Yeah. And is he trying to raise a question of why you wouldn't want people to, or you know what I mean? It's weird, the tone here.
It's a dual purpose, in my opinion. I think he's asking that as his first question, because a lot of times, usually, even with cross-examination, we'll see like a warm-up, right?
Yeah.
How are you doing? Like tell us a little about whatever. Immediately, when did you find out Casey was pregnant? He's he's coming with a mission. And so not only is he trying to, from question one, to diminish his credibility, but to also segue into what he was talking about in opening statements as far as taught to lie from a very early age, including lying about the pregnancy.
Yep.
So the photograph that you saw here today, you don't believe? Yes.
Yes.
What are you doing? Oh, get the photo? Okay. Look at how tiny. Sorry.
Ooh.
For anyone who doesn't know, they had Casey sitting in a shorter chair to make it seem like she was smaller and frail and less of a threat. But looking from the zoomed out, we haven't seen it zoomed out yet, Allie. She's looking at that. Even with the bump it gives her 3 inches.
Yeah, the desk is almost up to her shoulders.
It is. Oh, how ridiculous. So tiny, so small. Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. Look at that. Oh.
Here comes that photo we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Look at the water bottles are up to her chin. Oh my God, look how itty bitty she is.
Oh my God.
That's ridiculous.
Mr. Baez, if it's not in evidence, you may.
Oh.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of Casey when you went to the wedding?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I did not attend the wedding. I was there, but I didn't go to the wedding that day. But as far as that being Casey and Cindy together, yes.
Judge, unless there's any objection, I'd like to move Defense Exhibit A into evidence.
Stay.
We'll call him back for that. Miss,
What's the sidebar?
Oh yeah, clear your eye.
so we can all be clear,
Just a
Mr.
second. No,
I'm
just a
sorry.
second. You may proceed.
So we can all be clear, Mr. Anthony. Did you know your daughter was pregnant the day the photograph was taken?
Not exactly. I mean, I had a feeling that she was, but then again, like I've stated, until we knew for sure, until we could take her in for some kind of test or something like that.
So the answer is no?
Yeah, the answer is no. I mean, do I feel, does it look like it at that point, that photograph? Yeah, possibly.
I didn't ask you that. I just asked you, did you know if your daughter was pregnant the day that photograph was taken? Your answer is no?
No, not exactly.
Hey,
no,
Remy.
no.
Hi, Fragile.
And you were a father of two.
Hi,
Yes.
Kathy.
You were a father of two when that photo was taken.
Yes.
And is it your idea that your daughter had a beer belly?
Oh, come on.
I think the term was considered at one point maybe with retaining water or something like that. It's possible. I mean, I didn't believe that my daughter could be going to have a child right at that time, but stuff happens. I mean,
Did anyone know that Casey was pregnant when that photograph was taken? Anyone outside?
Sustain.
Did you tell anyone at that time that Casey was pregnant?
no, not at that time. I did not know.
And when you were confronted with her pregnancy, you didn't want to talk about it, did you?
First time I heard about Casey expecting a child is when Cindy and Casey came back to our house and we sat down on the couch together, or very close to the proximity of our couch in our house. And Casey and Cindy told me that they have something that they wanted to tell me about.
And you didn't have a clue that Casey was pregnant
You
up until
already
that moment.
said it.
Like I said, maybe a feeling or an intuition to a point, but when they told me, I was elated. I was excited.
You have no problems with your vision, do you, sir?
No, sir, I do not.
And
Rude.
Seriously?
Yeah. And like, okay, of course he didn't want to talk about it, but I know when I got pregnant, the first time I got pregnant at 18, I did not tell my dad until I was showing, and I was like 6 months in. I was so scared. And guess
Wild,
what?
right? Yeah.
He wasn't happy either, and he didn't want to talk about it. It's your little girl, and they've ran out and gotten pregnant. They're not married. They're not through college. It's of course a happy time, but also a stressful and upsetting too, as well to a parent. It can be. So I mean, it's not abnormal. Come on, Jose.
So what I think here is, and again, you have to have the context to this. No, he doesn't have bad vision. No, he's not blind. But Casey was an established liar. Let it also sink in that to this day, it is unknown who the biological father of Kaylee is to this day. She's an established liar. Do you think even if George asked Casey at that point if she was pregnant, he would be honest? It's clear that she eventually went to Cindy. I'm sure we'll find out when Cindy's on the stand how much farther ahead Cindy knew than George. But George had a feeling, had an idea, right? And that's when they approached. So no, it's not, hey, I just didn't think she was pregnant at all. I didn't think it was a possibility. Yeah, I was noticing these changes and then I was approached with it. But I think it's also easier to kind of push something out of your mind if you don't want to see it. It's actually miraculous. How about the women who find out they're pregnant when they give birth, okay?
Yeah.
And welcome, Kitty. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Exactly, Melissa. Hey, Remy.
was there an explanation given by your daughter lived with you, did she not?
Yes,
Every day?
every day.
And you saw her every day?
Pretty much so. I'd say probably 99% of the time I would see her, yes.
And 6 months prior to that photograph being taken, did you see her retaining water then?
Oh my God.
Well, I really don't believe that you see a person or a woman. Each woman is made up differently. Each woman is going to show a pregnancy
My
differently.
question to you, sir, is 6 months prior to the photograph being taken, did you see your daughter retaining water then?
6 months? No, did not.
Have you, prior to Casey being pregnant, had you ever seen her retaining water prior to that?
When Casey was younger, I know she put on weight here and there when she was involved with athletics and things like that. Casey was a very athletic young lady growing up.
And when she was younger and putting on weight due to being in athletics, did the weight gain in her stomach or elsewhere?
Stomach, it could be in her hind side or her butt. Some people would consider it could be in her shoulders, and she would work out and it would sort of go away. She was an avid runner.
So as she was an avid runner, she would gain a belly.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
saying that.
Dude.
I'm saying through her activity, if she shouldn't be running as much or being as active, I think anyone is going to put on weight with inactivity.
Now, you mentioned that you were in the delivery room. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you assisted in the delivery?
No, I did not assist. I was there and observed my granddaughter being delivered.
And you didn't know who the father was up until that day?
No, I did not. Did not know that.
You didn't ask?
Not up to that point, I didn't, because when I found out that I was going to be a grandfather, Casey was expecting a child, and we went through the different tests, and we went.
My question to you, sir, is did you ask?
I think it was shortly thereafter, or right around, maybe just before she had delivery. I'm not sure of the exact time when I finally did ask. And I remember a name of Baker was brought up.
So the answer is yes, you did ask.
Yes.
Now, how soon after finding out that your only daughter is pregnant did you ask? Who's the father?
I don't know. It could have been, like I said, just prior to her delivering Kaylee.
So
I'm
now
not really sure. I don't have an exact timetable. You're asking me to be specific.
Just a second. Please let the witness finish answering the question before there's another question. Let's
Ooh.
continue.
Are you finished, sir?
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Now, after you find out your daughter's going to be giving birth to your first.
Now let me pause, and I should have paused a second ago, but I can feel a shift in George's demeanor already, and I'm waiting for it to wear off a little bit because I can account that and attribute it to nerves, but not just nerves. You have to understand, and again, our series has been broken out piece by piece, but in reality, this is not an hour after this man right here on the screen openly in this courtroom accused George of the most horrific things imaginable. Okay. So I don't know what emotion I would attribute this to, but I'm not surprised that I can see that shift and that nervousness, and not necessarily nervousness because you have anything to hide, but because the pressure is on. The pressure is on, and it must be so uncomfortable. And you know what he's about to try to twist every single thing you say to appear as the most horrific thing, right?
Yep.
And so I can understand, and I think it's going to simmer down, like it's just right off the bat, here we are, it's happening. But Jose is very obviously trying to take everything and turn it into, I don't know what feeling that must be, Allie, knowing every single word you're about to answer. You can't, even if it's the most innocent thing, what this man is trying to turn it into.
Yeah, I would feel nervous and defensive too. And like you said, especially after he just found out, like maybe he didn't just found out, but he for sure knows now that he is the alternate suspect. You know what I mean? And of course he's going to be like that.
Right. Absolutely, Remy. Absolutely. And that's what it is. It's not even just opening the door to reasonable doubt using him. He straight up stated as fact really disgusting things regarding his daughter. Okay. And he's implying George could be the father of Kaylee. How the hell are you supposed to be up there and all eyes on you? And the fact that he's even able to sit up there and answer any question, I give it to him.
Same here. Everybody's staring at you.
Yeah, everybody. But the judge is like, yeah, we're not doing this talking over. Let him answer. And yeah, George should be answering more direct. Keep it, short, yes or no. But I'm waiting, and hopefully it balances out.
I think that George is just waiting for him to twist it. So he's trying to
overcompensate. Well, not overcompensate, but compensate for what he knows is about to get twisted.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Now, after you find out your daughter's going to be giving birth to your first grandchild, how long after did she give birth?
Well, if I just found out in May or June, we had, Kaylee was delivered in August. So it was over 2 to 3 months, you know, give or take a few weeks.
So in the entire 2 months, you never stopped your daughter and asked her, who is the father of this child?
Sustained.
You didn't ask her up until just before the child was born.
Sustained.
Yeah, you asked that.
The day after, or the day you were confronted with this news, did you hold a party or anything like that?
No, just
Give a baby shower?
Mr. Anthony, did you answer the question, sir?
The day that I found out that I was going to be a grandfather, when I first got the news of Casey's pregnancy, and it was only Cindy, Casey, and I at our house.
Now, you testified under direct examination that you thought your daughter was working. Did you not?
Yes.
Do you recall speaking to the FBI on July 31st of 2008? Excuse me, July 30th.
I had spoken to the FBI, the Sheriff's Department, numerous agents, a couple different agencies within a 2 or 3 week period.
Thank you so much, my fellow Melissa, for 15 months of support. That's very kind. Thank you. Yeah, I'm chain vaping.
Yes.
And when you spoke to the FBI, did you make the statement, the irresponsibility, because I've known her,
Just a second.
Sure.
Sustained, rephrase your question.
Yes, I'll rephrase the question.
Rephrase that shit.
On July 30th of 2008, do you recall speaking to an agent, Scott Boland, and an agent McEllier?
If that was the date that you have written down, that's probably the date that I did. I can't be specific on a timetable because I don't have information in front of me, but I'm sure that probably was
Page
the date.
35, counsel, lines 1 through 4. Did you make the statement, the irresponsibility, because I've known her?
Just a second.
I don't believe it is, Judge. Lines 1 through 4.
When you give the line and page, give counsel an opportunity to find the line.
Yeah, come on, Jose, you know that.
Okay, next question.
Did you make the statement, the irresponsibility, because I've known her, I've had a feeling for the last 2 years my daughter has not worked? Did you make that statement, Mr. Anthony?
Weeks later,
I did.
you know,
Right.
like,
when you're realizing all of the lies and you're finding out she doesn't work there, and he's saying, I had a feeling for 2 years she didn't. But guess what? He didn't say differently under direct. He said, I wanted to believe she was telling me the truth. I had that feeling, but I wanted to believe she was, and she was getting up and she was, going and leaving for these specific hours. So that isn't different from what he said. Unfortunately, I feel like George is an over talker and explainer, and sometimes that could be to his detriment, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything shady about it. But his daughter was a liar, and I don't think people really understand when you have a family member who lies to this extent about things that usually you lie to get out of something. Then there are people who lie when there's no reason to lie. And I don't know if anyone has ever experienced someone in family like that, but you get to a point where you do not bother asking things because you know damn well you're not going to get a fucking answer or the truth, even if you did.
yep, exactly. And by this point, July 30th, it's been a couple weeks. Who knows? He's probably found out that she took him to Universal, and you know what I mean?
He knew that same day. He knew that same day because they picked Casey up from the house and drove. He knew. And so, yeah, I'm sure he's looking in hindsight about everything. Well, I had a feeling she might not be, you know,
Exactly.
like, but this is what Jose's job is to take your words and pick them apart.
Yeah.
So was the statement you made under direct examination to this jury the truth, or was it to the FBI the truth?
Oh my God.
Approach.
Oh my
See,
God.
he eyes Casey.
Now,
What
Mr.
did he
Anthony,
ask?
you believed.
What did he ask? I missed it.
He said, so is what you told the jury, what you said here in front of the jury the truth, or what you said then the truth?
Okay. But you see how every time he eyes over to his left, he's looking at Casey, the defense table.
I didn't even think about that.
Right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Approach.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Mr. Anthony, you believed your daughter was working.
Yes, I believe Casey was working. Yes.
And every 2 weeks, did she come home with a paycheck?
No, I never really saw a paycheck from her because if she had a direct deposit or however she handled her finances, that was up to her.
What did you see your daughter spending her paycheck on?
Pardon me?
What did you see your daughter spending her paycheck on?
Well, hopefully for necessities for her daughter, gas for her car, insurance to insure that car. I mean, we were very, very good about helping Casey out in any way we possibly could if she was struggling financially or anything like that at all. I mean, we just wanted to make sure she was responsible for herself and her child.
And since you were wanting to find out that she was responsible for her child, when did you ask to meet the nanny?
I never asked to meet a nanny. I never did.
And did the nanny ever call the house?
Not that I am ever aware of. No.
Did you ever hear the nanny speaking to Casey on the phone?
No.
And did you ever see photographs of the nanny?
No.
Did you ever see anything written describing a phone number or anything like that? Any information about the nanny?
No, just whatever Casey told us about that she had someone that was helping take care of Kaylee when her mother and I weren't available to.
And every day she would get up, get dressed, and go to work and drop Kaylee off with the nanny.
That's what we were told she was doing. I mean, I had no reason really at too much of at any point not to disbelieve or believe my daughter. I mean, she was taking care of her child the best way she possibly could.
Is that a yes?
Well, I think you got an open-ended question there to a point, and I'm trying to answer it the best way I possibly can. I mean, did I ever know that she was dropping
My question to
Kaylee
you, sir.
off every time, sir? That's what you're sort of asking me.
My
I don't know.
question to you-
I was hoping she was taking her to someone she described or told us was a nanny.
My question to you, sir, is did she get dressed and go to work and leave the child with a nanny, as far as you know,
As far as I know, yes.
for 2 years?
It might not have been an exact 2-year period. It could have been a little bit less than that. You know, I'm not really known how long that she might have been,
A year and a half.
possibly a year and a half, could have been a year. I'm not really sure.
Now, why is it George's responsibility? He's providing for not only his daughter, but his granddaughter. And she's getting up and she is telling him, right? Like he literally just also answered the question of, I wanted to make sure, even though I'm helping, that you are providing for you and your daughter. As far as he knows, she's getting up, she's clocking into work, she's dropping Kaylee off the babysitter and coming back home with her at the end of the day. He even said how Kaylee said, I'm going to see Zanny, right? So why would, one, he need to see her paychecks, and two, if he believes that money is being distributed between the gas and the insurance and food and paying for Zanny, what, like, is he supposed to hop in the car and drive and see? Like, he's gonna trust what his daughter is telling him is what's happening. How is it his responsibility to go and what are you asking, Jose?
Is he getting at the fact that Casey was taking taking Kaylee out of the house? I'm confused what he's trying to prove here. Because like you said, I mean, it's obvious that why would he know
Yes.
exactly what, I don't know. I'm thinking that's what he's getting to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, George was employed at this time, working Sunday through Thursday, I think 9 to 5, and Cindy Monday through Friday until around 6 p.m. sometimes later as a nurse. So yes, and Casey slept and at the early afternoon until about 8 p.m. at night, like the 6-hour period, she would leave and go. And yes, she was stealing gas cans and stuff, but I'm sure we know she was stealing from friends and stuff too. And I'm sure she was getting money from the guy, however. So I don't think George thought it was enough to supply everything, who knows? But how was he supposed to know it was any differently? Only a freaking crazy ass liar is going to get up, get dressed, and go to clock in every day to a job they don't have.
Yeah. I'm thinking that he's saying that, you're getting her, like she was getting her out of the house. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Sorry.
So you don't know the difference. Kaylee was only 2.5.
Yes.
Correct. So for most of her life, Casey dropped her off at a nanny that didn't exist. I'll rephrase the judge.
Sustain.
For 2 years, Casey dropped Kaylee off at a nanny that you never met.
Maybe not a whole 2 years. To answer your question, yes, someone I never met, someone I had never had a phone number for or had any indication to go to pick Kaylee up or anything like that.
For most of her life.
Why is that crazy?
For probably maybe a half of her life. I'm just going in a roundabout way, but actually to answer your question, Kaylee, when Kaylee came up missing, Kaylee was 2 years and 10 months, not 2.5. So that needs to be clarified, sir, with you.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: did you ever go to a sports authority to verify if Casey worked there?
Absolutely, I did. Yes.
And you found out she wasn't working there.
I found out that she was not employed there.
Wow.
Because I went to go surprise my daughter at lunch.
Just surprise her.
Yeah, to take my daughter to lunch just to see how she was doing. Yes.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that you suspected she was not working.
That was a twofold thing. Yes, to see if she was there, and if she was there, great, terrific. I'll take her out to lunch.
So which was it? Was it because you wanted to surprise her for lunch, or you wanted to verify and see if she was lying to you?
Sustain.
Oh my God.
Are you saying, sir, that both of those were the reasons? Is that what your testimony is?
Yeah.
One, hoping that she was working there. Secondly, if she was, I would take her out to lunch.
Now, the Sports Authority was not Universal Studios.
Yeah, there's another
No,
lie.
it was not, but I understood from Casey being an event planner, again, they do not run these events every single day. She can
My
only
question
be
to you, sir, is Sports Authority.
trying to explain.
Sustain. Listen, folks. Ask the question. Let there be a break between the answer, Mr. Anthony. The court reporter cannot take it down when both of you are talking. And if a witness is being over-responsive, counsel say the witness is being over-responsive. But do not interrupt a witness when the witness is attempting to answer the question. You may proceed.
Get your
Sports
shit together.
Authority is not the same as Universal Studios.
I will agree, yes.
Now, did you ever go to Universal Studios to inquire if your daughter was working?
No, I did not.
She knows when it focuses on her, by the way.
I want to discuss June 16th of 2008. Do you understand?
Yes,
You said you had breakfast with Kaylee.
yes.
Kaylee would often have breakfast with you.
Numerous times, yes, we'd have breakfast together. Yes,
Casey was
Kaylee
still
loved to
sleeping.
swim.
yes.
and Kaylee would almost go swimming every day.
More, she would go as frequently as I know that Cindy would take her or Cece would take her. I rarely ever got in the pool with Kaylee unless Cindy and I were there together with her.
Kaylee would wake you up and say, "Jojo, swim. Jojo, swim."
She did a few times, yes.
And Kaylee could get out of the house relatively easily, correct?
Relatively easy. I'll agree with you to that, yes.
Now, around June 16, 2008, you were having significant marital problems with Cindy, were you not?
Not on that particular day, no.
Let's go back for a little bit. Once Kaylee was born, you moved out, did you not?
Approach.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
You
No
may
wonder
proceed.
he's defensive, though. I mean,
Yeah. It's because George is up on that stand, but he is being tried in the defense's eyes. And
yeah.
I can't imagine. And again, I do think he's overly sharing, but I understand why he is, because it's that terror of if you keep it short and you do not give context. And we've spoken about this before, Allie, how when you're up on that witness stand, you don't get to give context. You get to keep answer. And imagine only being able to answer yes or no questions to very personal things in your life. And it may not, the yes or no answer may not give the proper context. And you want to make sure, well, hey, the answer is yes, but hold on, like you need to know this. You don't get to do that. You need to know this. So knowing that you are literally being accused of most horrific, heinous, disgusting thing imaginable, I can understand why he is tiptoeing, wanting to give context here.
Yep, me too. Absolutely.
When Kaylee was born, you moved out.
No.
Around that time. How many months before you moved out?
November, towards the end of November, first part of December 2005.
Sorry?
Towards the end of November, the beginning of December 2005.
So Kaylee would have been just a few weeks, a couple months old?
If I'm not mistaken, from August to December could only be almost 4 months.
I'm sorry?
From August to December could be almost 4 months, or going into like a 5th month.
She was an infant when you moved out.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes.
And Lee also moved out.
Lee was out on his own, trying to establish himself as a young man in the world, just trying to get out to be on his own, to have some responsibility.
And the issues with you moving out of the house was because Casey didn't want you around.
No,
that correct?
That wasn't the reason. That wasn't the reason.
What were
Oh,
the reasons for
my
you moving out of the house?
Cindy and I had some financial difficulties. We were going through a really tough marital time, and that is a personal matter between her and I. That's not for the court or you to decide. I'm not on trial here for that.
This is when you told Cindy you had a gambling problem, right?
I'd done some gambling on the internet. Yes, sir. That's well established, and I'm not going to deny that. I did it.
Now, did you tell the FBI that it wasn't a gambling problem, that
Love your name.
you fell for some Nigerian bank scam?
There was a Nigerian bank scam and also some minor gambling that was done on it. So, I mean, I didn't lie to them. I told them the truth. I'm telling you the truth today.
So it's both. You were gambling and you fell for a Nigerian bank scam as well.
It goes hand in
I
hand.
believe
dude.
there's other people that have happened to. Yes, sir, it did. Yes.
And when you moved back, the tension between you and Casey continued.
Not really. There was some tension because I had moved out of the house, but it wasn't because of prior tension between Kaylee and I, or Casey and I, or anything like that. I mean, Cindy and I were going through a rough time. It happens. But as far as when I came back to the house, things were a lot better because I didn't just come back all of a sudden. It took months for me to gain some confidence back with Cindy and our marriage and stuff again. And it's something we're still working on today.
Now, Going back to June 16th, after you had breakfast with Kaylee, what did Kaylee do then?
Oh, we watched a DVD. I'm almost positive we did. As far as which one, I can't remember specifically. But just spending time with her, coloring a coloring book was something we did pretty much an everyday occurrence.
And
Just spending time with her.
And it's your testimony that both Casey and Kaylee left the house at 12:50.
12:50 or shortly thereafter. Yes, sir. Positive. I know that for a fact.
And what time did you go to work at that day?
Shortly after 2 o'clock, 2:10, 2:15. I only had about a 10-minute drive to go to work, and I just lived a short distance. I mean, I worked a short distance away.
Now, you described to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what Kaylee was wearing that day.
Yes.
And that was a pink top?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And jean shorts
Yes.
and white sunglasses
She had white sunglasses. Yes.
and a backpack with monkeys on it. Is that correct?
When I first was asked the question by the state, I just said a backpack, but yeah, it did have what I believe was a monkey design on it. Yes.
What did Cindy wear that day?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can't remember what Cindy wore that morning because Cindy would leave sometime between 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
What
I mean,
Cindy
she was very professional wearing it. Could have been a pair of slacks and a top. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What did Cindy wear the next day?
Overall, as to that question.
What did Cindy wear the next day?
Again, it could have been slacks. It could have been a dress, a nice top. I don't know. I don't know what Cindy wore the next day.
Now, you weren't asked about what Kaylee was wearing for 1 month after she went missing, correct?
Yeah.
You're going to have to give me a little bit more of a question here for me to give you an.
Nobody asked you what Kaylee was wearing the last time you saw her until July 15th, 2008, 1 month after you last saw her.
That's correct because I didn't know that we would be having a missing child in our lives and be thrown into this. I didn't know anything about that, but I specifically know what she wore because that's the last time I saw her and that's what she had on.
And you had no idea when you saw her for the last time that would be the last time you saw her.
That's correct.
But yet 1 month later, you still remember what she was wearing.
Sorry, but again, to even make the comparison with Cindy, he already explained Cindy got up for work, but he worked night shift, second shift. She worked day shift. He explained it was usually when she was leaving that he would get up for the day and then he would go and have breakfast with Kaylee. For him to remember what Cindy was wearing that day, when again, Cindy isn't the relevant party here, is crazy. Who knows what she was wearing the same fucking shit for work that she always wears. But Kaylee, I'm sorry, down to the pink top and the jeans and the white sunglasses. I don't blame her. I don't blame him for remembering that because she probably looked adorable and came out and, bye, JoJo, where are you going? I'm going with Zanny. I'm going to go. Like, he explained it exactly why I could, so it doesn't matter that a month passed. That doesn't surprise me because she probably looked freaking adorable and it stood out in his mind. And it's not hard because you're seeing a kid with white sunglasses on. I'm sorry, that's going to stand out in your mind.
Yeah, and I bet you he's replayed that last time he saw her over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In his own head. So
I believe so. Allie, do you know?
let's see, with your notification silent. I think if it's like an emergency, yes, but otherwise, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, like, if you're getting like an emergency alert, tornado warning or something like that, it would still be on loud.
Yeah.
Because the Amber Alerts are. So
Right.
Sustain.
Did you remember 1 month later what Kaylee was wearing?
Sustain.
Yeah, ask an answer, dude.
But you can't recall what your wife was wearing.
There were how many days between the two? I'd be so much more likely to remember, and not even a child, okay? But what you were wearing if I didn't see you again versus what, like, let's say my sister was wearing if I saw her every day since.
Yep, exactly.
But she was a little girl with the pink top and the jeans and the, sorry, it's just a standout outfit on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, she came out to him. She's like, I'm going. He even recollected watching Casey put her in the car. You know, like, it's not crazy that he remembered since it was the last time he saw her.
Yep. Oh, how sad. I'm going to see Zanny, which still is boggling my mind.
I know. That's why I'm very interested to see what else comes out, because I'm like, why would Kaylee say that? You know, like, where was she going every day? And I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional about this because it breaks my heart when, especially like when they're, you know, like JoJo Swim, you know, like I'm heartbroken.
It's so sad.
See, I don't think, and I hear what you're saying, Kitty, but I don't think it's that strange when he remembers specifically like what he was watching, where he was, and to see her come out in such a specific outfit. Now, if it was just like a white Nike top with like black leggings, I wouldn't think, but the fact that she came out with the bright pink shirt and the jeans and these white sunglasses and the backpack, you guys, she wasn't even 3 years old. Could you imagine how adorable she would have been? That doesn't surprise me because it was such a standout outfit.
Plus, like, I'm sure with the way that Casey was, he says he watches her put her in the car. Well, probably nervous every time they leave. That's how parents are. Oh my gosh, like, I hope it doesn't rain. I hope the roads don't get wet. I hope, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. Then he never sees her again, so he's replaying that in his head. Yeah. I'm not surprised either.
And Gidget, you are so right. Gidget says every face in this still shot says something different. And you are so right. Every face has something different going on.
Yeah.
Tony's house, and she called him Zanny. Interesting. You know what, Allie? Maybe Casey, because she wasn't going to work, right? Maybe she really was just bringing her to her boyfriend's house all the time. And she said, we're going to Zanny's, right? And so she associated that with Zanny.
That's possible. And Tony doesn't sound that far off, at least the end. You know what I mean? Yeah, Chloe Moon, yeah, that's Geraldo right there. Yeah, it's crazy seeing him sitting there like that. And then you have this woman to the, like, on the right side that she looks just and then
look at him behind her.
Yeah,
look at this guy eating his finger Wade style. She's just like, I don't know where she's looking, but everyone's just like, damn.
Yeah.
Sustain.
Do you remember what your wife was wearing last Tuesday?
Sustain.
Yeah, ask and answer, dude. I thought that too, Kathy. Yep.
Now, Mr. Anthony, you reported gas cans missing on the 24th of June, right? So yes.
May I answer, Your Honor?
Yes, you can answer.
On June 24th of 2008, yes, I made a report to the Orange County Sheriff's Department about a break-in of a shed. Someone forcibly broke into a shed and removed gas cans.
And you did that because you were concerned that someone was burglarizing your shed.
Well, if they broke in.
Mr. Anthony, you knew Casey would take gas from the gas cans, did you not?
Sustain.
Mr. Anthony, when you got the gas cans back from your daughter, how did that occur?
Sustain.
Mr. Anthony, did you ever notice any duct tape on that gas can?
Yes.
Wait, so what is he objecting? I know
may
they have to
continue.
stay in the scope, but could you hear what he was saying when he objected? I couldn't
I
hear what.
couldn't hear. I'll go back, but that's absolutely right, Allie. Like they do have to stay in the scope. But we talked about this when we ended on Allie's last time, guys. So right now, George is a state's witness. So when defense comes up for cross-examination, he could only ask questions within the scope. And within the scope means anything that the state asked him. So if certain things weren't even questioned by the state initially, defense can't come in and go outside of that scope. And so I'm not sure if it was relevance or if it was outside the scope. I'll jump back.
Okay.
Duct tape on that gas can.
Outside the scope.
Yes,
Okay.
you may continue.
Mr. Anthony, you testified today that Kaylee did not drown in the pool, correct?
That's correct.
And you said that when you heard this today, we would not be here if that were the case. Do you remember saying those words?
Yes, sir.
But you've heard this previously, have you not?
Okay.
As the question is phrased.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and you've heard this previously from several different areas, do you not? Did you not?
No, sir, just one area.
You've also heard from the prosecution that that's how Kaylee died. Did you not?
Yep.
You may. Objection sustained. Rephrase the question.
Mr. Anthony, you met yesterday with the prosecutor since the case, no?
Yes, for a brief period of time, I talked to Mr. Ashton, yes.
And you spoke to Mr. Ashton about your testimony here today.
Briefly, yes, we just discussed how I would be basically questioned by the state, by him. And there was no exact questions or anything like that. We just went over a generality of things. Yes, sir.
So you were prepped and
No, sir, I was
ready to
not
go.
prepped. No, that's a misconception. I was not prepped. I was just told that I'd possibly, or it looked like I'd be the first person called, and that we would talk about my granddaughter. And we've done that.
how long did you meet with Mr. Ashton?
About an hour, roughly. I'm just roughly guessing.
And he told you the questions he was going to ask you?
No.
No, sir, I already answered
Just
that.
a second.
Look at him smirking. It is not unusual that when you are called as a witness for the state to explain to you, this is what to expect. There is a big difference between being explained. You're going to be called on the stand. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. What you want to do is just, try to stay focused. Try not to give too much, just answer the questions. Then defense will have their chance. You can anticipate this from the defense. They may try to throw you off a bit. Then I'll have the chance to redirect. There is a big difference between that and prepping, meaning, which you're not allowed to do this, giving the witness the questions ahead of time and planning the answers. You're not allowed to do that. And that's why Jose is trying to, so you were prepped. You were given the questions. No, that is not what he said.
Oh my gosh. I'm just annoyed by the fact that George he's getting so frustrated and it's so hard for him, and Jose's like laughing about it, smirking about it, whatever,
Right.
it's gross. But I completely agree with you, and there is a big difference. Every word you said on that, I agree. There's a difference in this is what to expect versus, okay, so when he asked this, you need to say this.
Yes. You're not allowed to do that. But how the hell do you guys think a witness is prepared and even knows what to expect without being told you're being called as a witness? This is the do's and don'ts. Not specifically what we're going to ask you or anything like that, but this is what to expect. This is what you do. And that's that.
Yep.
I actually don't think George is a great witness. And when I say that, let me be clear. I completely understand. He is reasonably emotional, but as far as like taking emotion out of it, he should be very limited with his answers, and he's over answering. But again, I do not blame him. I completely understand, and I could rationalize with that. But as the jury, I get nervous that they can interpret that as you're going very far out of your way to answer a simple question, but we know why he's doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
don't
I
want
think
to
it,
give Jose more to twist than you have to.
yes, exactly. But he's so nervous, and Jose is asking questions that obviously don't look good. So he wants to give like a bigger explanation than just the yes, so it's tough.
Mm-hmm. No, and you're right. His composure is great. And it's because I know when you said it, and I'm thinking about prosecution's probably sitting there like, shorten it down, take that emotion out of it. Don't over explain, because sometimes even when you're asked a very simple question, you're trying to think ahead and you have all these eyes looking on you and you're trying to figure out what is he getting at, because you're not just asking a direct question where I could give a direct answer. It's leading somewhere. So you're trying to figure out where it's leading. And George is trying to give too much context to stuff. Again, I understand. I don't blame him. But in the eyes of like, what's an ideal witness? That's actually not what you want,
Right.
But I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. It's understandable because of the situation, who he is to the victim, all of that stuff. But yeah, it's not. And being a homicide detective at one point, you know this. Come on, you testified.
Yes, he's that's a good point, Allie. I'm sure he's testified before in some type of trial, not as an expert versus a witness. And that's super interesting.
Just on a case he was on, you know what I mean, or whatever, just regular testimony, like regarding what they investigate or whatever. So he should know. But
well, and that's a great point, Mosma, because what you're also seeing here is George trying to make sure I did not do what you claimed I did in these opening statements, but at the same time knowing the more he defends himself, you are signing your child's death warrant. I can't imagine.
Yeah, me neither. Impossible situation, man.
Yeah. Well, and here, I'll say this, though, and I totally understand Emily, because she said George should also know better, being a former law enforcement. Well, this is why they won't allow doctors or surgeons to operate on family members. They won't allow a detective to do investigation on their own family's case, because you cannot separate emotion from the task at hand. We are humans, right? So actually, I don't disagree as far as, like Al Stout, I feel like we saw a lot of his training and his military take the forefront when he was up in camp. But at the same time, we are humans, and this is a heavy, you aren't just testifying, you have to, it's either you or your daughter, and going down as like a child, like as the worst thing you could go down for, while at the same time wanting to get justice for your granddaughter, while at the same time knowing if you do those two things, you can be you're helping sending your child to death. This was a death penalty case.
Yeah, you're literally being interrogated by a man who just told everyone, God and everybody, that you've been raping your daughter since she was 8 years old, or I'm sorry, saying, but also,
no, you're right.
Yeah, so
he could not win. There was no winning.
No.
Oh, wow.
He's answered the question, so objection overruled at this point.
Yeah, look at our judge there.
Now,
Just a second.
Yeah, you saw your role, Jose.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court at an appropriate time in talking about Judging the credibility of witnesses, the court will instruct you it is entirely proper for a witness to discuss their testimony with their attorneys prior to them coming into court, and that a witness should not be discredited by talking to an attorney. Instruction will read exactly. It is entirely proper for a lawyer to talk to a witness about the testimony the witness would give if called into the courtroom. The witness should not be discredited by talking to a lawyer about his or her testimony. You may continue.
Exactly. And I'm so happy that the judge spoke up, Allie, and made sure the jurors understood. Been talking about the credibility of George. This is what he was allowed to do and what he isn't allowed to do. So don't let, just because an attorney, defense, prosecution states something, don't take that as fact. He said that day one. Well, moment one, we're still on day one.
Yeah. And also, it's fine. It's normal for them to talk to, like for an attorney to talk to them about their testimony.
Yes.
You currently have a lawyer, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And within 24 hours of reporting Kaylee missing, you had a lawyer then by the name of Paul Kelly, did you not?
Smart guy.
Overruled at this point.
Mr. Paul Kelly is a workers' comp attorney. I did seek his advice when this first occurred because I had no one else to turn to. And with him having legal knowledge, yes, I did, but I did not retain him. He was there just as, we brought him in as a friend to help us through the first hour, the first few days, whatever it's going to be. He was never, we'd never retained him. He was there just to counsel us through something, help us go in the right direction if we needed some kind of assistance.
You sought legal advice from him
Okay.
within 24 hours of calling law enforcement. Did you
Oh
not?
my God.
We had Mr. Kelly to our house the day that we first met you at our house. If I am pretty much on point with that.
My
Prior to
question
that,
is,
I never talked to Mr. Kelly.
you sought legal advice from Mr. Kelly. Is that a yes? I didn't ask you when,
Okay, I will answer that yes right now.
and that was within 24 hours of calling the police in this case.
It possibly could have been within a 24-hour period. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll say yes at this point.
And then after you mentioned he's not a criminal defense lawyer, then you retained a criminal defense lawyer subsequent to him, did you not?
You may. Objection sustained. Next question.
Now, Mr. Anthony, you stated that you never had any duct tape. Is that correct?
I didn't say anything about duct tape.
You heard are you aware of the duct tape that's involved in this case?
I was made aware of it some time ago. I can't the exact nature of how I got to have knowledge of duct tape. I could have seen it on the internet or some discovery that was left out there. I'm not really sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure of the exact timeline. I mean, I understand that there was some duct tape that's part of this trial, part of this case.
You sat right over there while I gave my opening statement, did you not?
Yes, sir, I did.
So you know exactly what I'm referring to, do you not?
Oh my God.
Sustained, you can ask them about duct tape.
Okay, hold on, and I'll jump back to hear the judge. But I'm realizing what George is doing. George is very nervous to give a specific date, a specific time, a specific answer of how he found out about anything. And this started from the first question of finding out Casey was pregnant with Kaylee. And so I know why he's doing that, right? Because you do not want to get hung up on saying something happened at this time, knowing he's going to flip it. But because of that, it's coming off as uncertain, which I don't think he's uncertain. I think he's just being very careful not to take time to think, and he's processing as he's speaking out loud. And okay, yes, I'm aware the duct tape. I'm aware. I don't know how I was first made aware. It may have been on the internet. It may have been through discovery. I'm aware of duct tape, but I don't want to tell you when exactly. And then Jose takes that opportunity to turn it into, you heard me talk about it in opening statements, right? You know what I'm talking. Yeah, he knows what you're talking about, but he's saying, I don't know when I became aware of it, how I became aware of it. I just know at some point I became aware of the duct tape.
Yeah. Oh, you were. I didn't like that at all. That little, like he's trying to. I don't know. I just didn't like that. You were here during my opening statements comment he just gave.
Yeah.
He's like leading. He's pushing a narrative. You know.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's pushing a narrative through the questions themselves. So it's no longer even just about how the witness answers versus how the jury is going to interpret the questions being asked.
Yep. Exactly.
Timeline, I mean, I understand that there was some duct tape that's part of this trial, part of this case.
You sat right over there while I gave my opening statement, did you not?
Yes, sir, I did.
So you know exactly what I'm referring to, do you not?
Sustained, you can ask them about duct tape, but you can't ask them about your opening statement. Opening statement is not evidence. Next question.
You understand what the issue is, correct? You've seen the duct tape that we're referring to?
Yes.
Now, you told Mr. Ashton that you never had any duct tape. Were you in possession of that duct tape?
I don't remember that duct tape, whatever you're talking about, I remember that being exactly at my home. I mean, I've had tapes and stuff for many years. I mean, I've purchased duct tape at different places. I'm not.
Henkel brand duct tape.
Sustained, Mr. Anthony, would you finish answering the question, please, sir?
That specific one, if that was at my house, then I guess that could be considered, yes, in my possession. I had knowledge of it.
And you did not put the duct tape on that gas can, correct?
Sustained.
Were you in possession of that duct tape at the public supermarket, the command center, while you were passing out flyers of your missing granddaughter?
Sustained.
Judge, may we approach?
No.
Oh my God. Oh, I love this judge.
Wait, was that the prosecution? Or because I looked down for 1 second.
Jose, like he kept objecting. The prosecution kept objecting, and the judge kept saying sustained. And Jose said, "Can we approach?" And he said, "No."
Oh, that was amazing. Oh, Allie, I cannot wait till we listen to this judge speak out when we get past the trial. Oh, I'm so excited. Can we approach? No, don't even try. Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Oh, I love that.
Your missing granddaughter.
Sustained.
Judge, may we approach?
No.
Go, judge. It was outside of the scope.
Yeah.
No.
No. Don't even try.
And even the tone in his voice when he said it was like, bruh, this is annoying.
Yeah, it does.
Mr. Anthony, when did you first find out that your car was towed?
Overall as to that question.
When I first found out about our Pontiac Sunfire had been towed, we had received a notice through the United States Postal Service See, like a yellowish color tag, probably about the size of this. And it just had our name on it, the person who had sent it, and it was available to be picked up, at the local post office where we get our mail delivered from.
Do you understand my question, sir? My question was,
When I first got notice of it,
when did you first know or find out that your car was towed? What date?
I believe it was Sunday, the 13th of July. It was on a Sunday.
And you picked up the car on the 15th.
Overall,
You picked up the car on the 15th.
Yes.
And when you picked up the car, did you advise anyone that your granddaughter was missing?
If I remember correctly, when I was walking around the car with the gentleman at the tow yard, and after realizing that I hadn't seen my granddaughter for nearly a month, and I really hadn't had a lot of contact with my daughter within that month, I was concerned when I seen the car being towed there, when I saw the car had been towed there.
Did you advise anyone that your granddaughter was missing when you picked up the car?
No, not at that time. I didn't say she was missing, no.
You didn't tell anyone that you hadn't seen your granddaughter?
What I said to the tow gentleman that was there, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. It was when we were walking around the back of the car. I didn't verbally say it out loud. I think I said it in a very soft tone, that I hope this is not my daughter or my granddaughter or both, because the way the car smelled.
And that smell was the smell of human decomposition.
sustained.
After you smelled that smell, sir, what did you do?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Baez.
Come on, dude.
Judge, until this witness is called for further testimony, I have no questions.
Okay,
Can
now.
you redirect in those areas?
Oh, okay. Let's hear.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Nothing. I'm just the redirect. I'm interested to see, like, what they're gonna redirect with.
Yes. So, for anybody, again, who may not be familiar, the redirect is when the prosecution comes back up and they have to now keep it also within the scope of what defense just asked. So, when it's the prosecution's witness, which, it's the state's, they get the first direct examination. They get to ask the questions. Cross-examination from defense has to keep it within the scope of the questions asked by prosecution. And redirect is, hey, like now, because it's your witness, you started. If you have any follow-up questions that you want to clarify of what Jose just asked George, now's your time. But George is going to be called, because we scrolled ahead and we saw at least like 4 other times, like he's going to be called multiple times throughout this trial.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's composed as much more composed than I would anticipate, like at least not raising his voice or anything like that, but he's oversharing. But I could understand why. I don't look at him as like, oh, you're hiding something or you're being elusive. No, I just think he's trying to compensate for what Jose's narrative is, literally with those opening statements.
Yep. Same here.
Yes. Oh my God. All right. So here we go. Redirect.
Since Mr. Baez has raised it, tell us about the Sports Authority incident when you went to check on your daughter's work situation. What happened?
When I arrived at Sports Authority, I went inside and was met with a younger gentleman at one of the cashier areas. And I introduced myself. I said, I'm George Anthony. I'm Casey's father. Is Casey here? And the gentleman said, who's Casey? And I said, Casey Anthony. And I gave her a brief description.
Sustained.
Your Honor, it's not for the truth of the matter asserted. It's simply to establish.
Mr. Baez, she didn't hear your objection.
If I
Go
may,
ahead.
it's not for the truth of the matter asserted, just to establish the events that flow from the statement. I would ask the court to reconsider.
Sustain.
Now, based upon what the gentleman told you, what did you do?
I got a little concerned and I asked to see the manager.
And did you have additional conversations with him?
I had
Without
addition-
telling me what they were, did you have additional conversations with him?
I had a more conversation with the manager and found out that
Don't tell me what they said. Now,
I can't.
after that conversation, what did you do?
knowing that Casey was not there, I got in my car and left.
At some point, did you address this issue with either your wife or your daughter or both?
First time I addressed it with my wife, Cindy.
All right. And tell us about that conversation.
It was not the best conversation to have with Cindy at the time because of feeling that I was invading Casey's privacy to a point, following her. Just should have just left it go and not
Was your
been the detective of the house to go find what was going on.
Was your detective work well received by your wife?
No, it was not. It was not.
Did it create additional strife in a relationship that you were trying to repair?
Slightly.
Okay. They're asking this because the one fucking time George goes and looks for himself, it did not go over well, Allie. It was, you're invading her privacy. Why'd you do that? Don't be detective, be dad. And then Jose's up there. You didn't go and look. You believed her to. You didn't know she was pregnant. Well, look what happens when he does go off of his gut feeling.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, you'd think Cindy would be mad Casey's lying about the job, not George going there, but whatever.
Damn.
But we worked through it.
Did you address this with Casey as well?
I don't remember if I really addressed it immediately or if it was a short period of time after, or we just had a brief discussion. I mean, I don't think it was anything that was that bad.
You just let it go.
Just let it go.
Yep.
Now, can you tell us when, in relation to the last time you saw Kaylee, this would have been the same year, the year before? Can you give us a general idea?
The last time I saw my granddaughter Kaylee was June 16, 2008.
I mean, the Sports Authority incident, when was
Sports
that?
Authority, I'm sorry.
Yeah, when
Sports
was that
Authority
in
incident, I believe was towards the end of 2007, could have been the early part of 2008. I'm not really sure of that generality of the time, but I know it wasn't all that long ago.
Now, let's talk about Mr. Kelly, the attorney that counsel asked you about. Had he done some work for you in the past?
He was my workers' comp attorney when I had a couple different injuries. He took care of that for me.
And how far back was that he worked as your attorney?
Overall,
How far back was it that he had actually worked as your attorney?
He helped me two different occasions. One time was in, I believe it was 1995, 1996, and again in the early part of 2000.
Subsequent to that, had your relationship with Mr. Kelly changed from lawyer-client to something more personal?
Oh, we've been just great friends for nearly 20 years.
And did you and Cindy socialize with his family? Did your kids socialize together? Was it that kind of relationship?
We've been out to dinner a couple different occasions, been to his home and shared a meal at his home with him and his family.
And when you had him come to your house the day, I guess the day after you found out Kaylee was missing, was he there more as a friend or more as a legal advisor?
And I'm going to pause right there because that also angered me before. Dude, when you find out your daughter has been gone for over a month and she comes back after your wife hunts her down, only to tell you, I haven't seen my daughter in 31 days. She was kidnapped, okay? And this whole cycle of events start, and she gets arrested, and you find out everything she's been sharing is a lie, and she doesn't even work at Universal Studios, and you have I'm sure even if it was a real estate agent, someone who does like legal advice in real estate, you would call the person you know and ask, like, what do you think I should do? That is not weird. That is not suspicious. That is smart.
Yeah. Should I get her attorney? Should I get us an attorney? What do we expect next? I mean, things like that.
You know what's so weird, though? It's when he said, it's the same day I met you for the first time. And I'm thinking back to the video visits we watched and how they were advocating for her to speak with Jose. And he would have came and spoke to them. And it started off that way. And now look where it is now.
It's crazy.
It is.
Overall.
Friend.
I love that judge's voice.
I mean, it was a combination of both because Cindy and I didn't know where to turn, except to turn to someone that we considered our friend and had legal knowledge. So we were reaching out to just get some help.
How would you describe your emotional state on that day, the 16th of July, the day after everything was revealed, and the day that, how were you feeling? What were your emotions then? No, I believe this is the date that counsel was referring to.
Overall.
Just tell us that.
Very, very tired, very edgy. Hadn't had nothing to eat or drink since probably earlier the day prior to that. Talk about running on fumes. I mean, you're going in so many different directions. It's hard just to sit down and just concentrate on one particular thing because your whole main objective is to find your missing granddaughter. That's whatever it took. I mean, we were, to say how exactly I felt that day, I do know that we were just devastated.
Allie, oh fuck. Every time I go to pause this, or like the little play is in the bottom left, it's so small, but every time I bring my pointer over to it, the bottom left of my screen, like it pulls up the weather and stuff, like from my actual, it's so annoying. But look at Allie. Look how tiny she is.
Look at her there. Everybody's up higher but her. Oh my God. And there's several women. Also, I learned a trick. As long as you have hit the mouse, like the mouse is like has already clicked play, you can use your space bar to click it and unclick it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Because I keep doing it. That's why I keep getting jammed up. They lowered her chair, Remy. She's in a child's stool. What is that? Yes, it was done purposely, Coffee and Skeleton, so she seems smaller, more frail, less of a threat.
Yeah.
But look at itty bitty she looks.
Looks stupid from far away like this, or from any distance where you can compare.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe it worked, but interesting tactic, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man. That's crazy.
Meek and mild.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me jump back a second. Okay.
Because
it does
your
work.
whole main objective is to
Yay.
find
You're welcome.
your missing granddaughter. That's whatever it took. I mean, we were, to say how exactly I felt that day, I do know that we were just devastated.
No further questions.
Aww.
Okay, may the witness stand down. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. You may resume your seat.
Heartless.
Look
I
at
just want
her.
to fix her eyebrow, Allie. Do you see that hair? That
Oh my
comes up?
God. Yes. On both sides.
Yeah. Like, yo, I so desperately just want to lick my finger and just Put it down. I don't know why a disheveled brow gives me anxiety.
I had to zoom in to see because it looks like on both sides they're only half a brow. But
Yeah.
that one, yeah, it's shaped very funny, but it's like blonde on the ends. Like
It's blonde on the ends. That's exactly what it is.
it's what it cut out for me. I'm sorry.
It's blonde on the ends. You're exactly right. But the hair right there, it's just flooped up, you know, like she's got a, what's the character that licks the pointer finger and
Lorax, is that it? Like a
yeah, like I don't remember.
cat. It's a Dr. Seuss character, I think.
Yeah.
I cannot believe her.
I know and you know what though? She didn't give any tears during this, and I'm paying attention to like the shaking of her head or anything, and I didn't see because I was like, where is she going to be adamantly about him lying? And she seems much more calmer and less emotional right now.
Yeah, she's actually seems like she has no emotions at all. In a way, like she's just it's eerie.
Disconnected. And thank you, 2112. Time can change minds after further reflection. Do you think today any of the jurors are watching this for a second time and rethinking their vote? And thank you so much for the support. And I know Allie has a better understanding about the jurors, and we're definitely going to get into it.
Yeah, since we're
point, but you want to explain?
Well, since we're going to get into it, I'll just say I believe they are, but let's just wait and we'll hear from them after we get through this, because it appears that they didn't fully understand their options or the instructions. And yeah, so we'll watch it together and kind of debate it then with it fresh in my mind anyways. Well, it'll be fun to have the discussion. But yeah, I think so, though. 2112, I do.
I do, yeah, and I agree. And so, like, we're going to get into specifically that. We're going to hear from the jury as this is a whole plan discussion we're going to have, but in a short answer, yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because in opening statements, Remy, it's not evidence, right? And so the judge already explained, hey, right before opening statements, everything that you're about to hear, you cannot take it as evidence, okay? This is their narrative, these are their claims. And then during trial, right, after opening statements, it's up to them to prove these things. So Jose had the ability to come out and make whatever claims he wanted, unfortunately. But then, as far as I'm understanding, closing statements, he couldn't claim that because he didn't show any evidence of any essay or anything like that.
Yeah. And then Remy's comment is a great point about the juror, like kind of for 2112's. Yeah. Oh, shoot. It took me off the screen, so I can't see it, but.
Lesser included charges are hard when on one verdict sheet. Jurors in Karen Reed said the same. Oh, you are right. That came up more recently, too, with the Karen Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Natasha, it's a factor. And so I think, not having clear jury instructions is definitely something that we're going to hear about. Yeah. So our next, I was about to do it again, Allie. I was about to say Anthony.
I'm sorry.
I still feel so embarrassed about that. Oh.
So funny. Don't be embarrassed. It's hilarious. It gave us a good chuckle.
Anyone who wasn't here, I started going through the list and I was like, all right, we have Anthony up next. And then, another Anthony. We got Anthony. And I'm not realizing it's Casey Anthony verse. So it's not Anthony. Okay. But, yeah, right, 2112. So, yeah, Emily, I feel like the prosecution, and I had just mentioned this, Allie, yesterday during my Idaho coverage, is that I'm concerned, and especially watching this trial with you, how Jose dominates that courtroom. And I was concerned because I feel like Anne dominates the courtroom the same way that Jose does. And so, I think it does play a huge role in how humans, because that's what jurors are, humans are perceiving it. And so it's not always about, hey, what they're saying. Does it make sense? Is it fact? A level of your perception is coming from the fact that they're saying it with confidence. They're saying it when
Yeah.
like to where you're absorbing absorbing it and remembering it. And the prosecution is not memorable so far yet, you know, and that's what I'm nervous is going to happen with Koberger.
Yeah, he's only been like good when he's like very quickly objecting, and I've appreciated that because they've been sustained a lot, like just now during the this cross. But I'm concerned about that too. But once, like, I don't know, watching her, there are points when I'm like, okay, she really doesn't have much, and she's struggling to make it make sense. This judge is very he gives her not a lot of leeway compared to the last one, but I wonder how much would he interject during a trial? Probably not very much. I don't know.
Well, our next episode, which will be on Allie's, we have Cameron Campana and Nathan Lesniewicz. I don't recall off the top of my head. Maybe you guys will know in the chat who these witnesses are. I'm assuming just from the thumbnail, these are at least friends or someone she spent that 31-day time period with.
Yep, it looks like is that one of those like party pictures or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe that's who that is, somebody during that.
I'm excited because Allie, I'm so excited for you to see what she was doing. And after that, we're going to have Roy. But I'm so excited for you to see everything she was doing during that. Why can't I speak? Everything she was doing during that period. They are the boyfriend's ex-roommates. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Cece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see. Oh, sorry. I just didn't say I can't wait to see those days either, like of what she was doing. Because like I've always heard the Bella Vita tattoo about some of it, but hearing actual testimony about it, I look forward to that.
So hey, before we go, do you think I should read the comment that I got?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? It's pretty wild with
the
edit.
With the edit. All right. So I want to tell you guys about this comment I got. And it was under my last episode for Casey. And I got a long comment. And I'm going to read you the comment. And maybe you guys I won't even say it, but maybe you guys will pick up what made me screenshot the comment to begin with. But the comment reads, okay? Casey is old news. We now know exactly what happened to Kaylee. The pool ladder was accidentally left down. Kaylee opened the sliding glass door, walked into the backyard, and climbed into the pool, unescorted, and sans arms floats. Kaylee accidentally drowned whilst Casey was asleep. Note that Kaylee had been told 1,000 times to stay away from the pool. Casey awoke to discover that Kaylee was missing and panicked. Casey began a frantic search and discovered Kaylee floating in the pool. Casey retrieved Kaylee from the pool and began mouth-to-mouth resuscitation pronto. Casey had trouble keeping Kaylee's mouth open during resuscitation, so she used duct tape to aid the process, i.e., the duct tape was used to help keep Kaylee's mouth open. Casey was hysterical after all attempts to breathe life back into Kaylee failed. The sense of loss was so great that she lost control of her mental faculties. Casey began to behave irrationally. Postpartum psychosis had begun to set in. A distraught Casey even entertained thoughts of suicide. Potential suicide methods such as, quote, foolproof suffocation were searched on her computer. Casey dressed Kaylee and put her wet swimsuit, which reeked of chlorine, in the Pontiac trunk. Some of Kaylee's hairs were attached to the swimsuit. Casey then drove around town in a zombie-like state. She was confused and did not know what to do. Should she take Kaylee home? Should she take Kaylee to the hospital? Should she take Kaylee to Blanchard Park? Should she take Kaylee to Universal Studios? Should she bury Kaylee? Casey's frantically visited places that were familiar to her: Blanchard Park, Sawgrass Apartments, Target, Blockbusters, Fusian. The chaotic travel orgy lasted for days, whilst Casey became even more irrational. Casey was now at the point of a mental breakdown. She still believed that she could revive Kaylee herself. Always the optimist, Casey even got a Bella Vita tattoo. An exhausted and emotionally drained Casey finally retreated to a wooded area near her home, a former childhood hangout. She believed that she would find a sense of comfort, regressing back to more pleasant childhood memories. Casey began to sense the gravity and hopelessness of the situation and instinctively buried Kaylee in the wooded area. She even borrowed a shovel from our neighbor to conduct a proper burial ceremony. Casey also buried a few sentimental items along with Kaylee, so Kaylee would not be alone. A traumatized Casey attempted to continue on with her life, refusing to accept Kaylee's death. She wandered around town aimlessly, visiting familiar places, searching for her Kaylee. And yes, on occasion, a distraught Casey even sought the comfort of men. The Pontiac eventually ran out of gas and was abandoned at the Amscot. This frantic search continued for 31 days until Cindy intervened with the now infamous 911 call. Casey had to borrow a few dollars from friends in order to fund her investigation. As far as the babysitter, Zenaida, it was a generic name for a nanny or a babysitter, i.e., derived from Zanny the nanny. Zenaida was created as a protective figure, a guardian watching over Kaylee. As long as Zenaida existed, Kaylee was safe. Casey had a conniption after she discovered that Kaylee accidentally drowned. She refused to accept this painful reality. She continued to believe that Kaylee could be safe with Zanny. She did not want to face the possibility that Kaylee had died or jeopardize Kaylee's safety with Zanny. Granted, not all of her decisions were made with a sound mind. The decision to conduct her own independent search effort or being confused about her current employment status at Universal. All right. Did you guys catch what I found out about that? Did they?
They caught it, yeah. And then I told him, we'll just wait till you hear about the edit, because everyone was like, wait, what? Our neighbor? What?
Okay.
Like the comments just blew up with that.
So what gave me pause was in this long, very long comment, the part where she said, Casey began to sense the gravity of the situation and the hopelessness and instinctively buried Kaylee in the wooded area. She even borrowed a shovel, in parentheses, from our neighbor to conduct a proper burial ceremony. And I was like, from our neighbor? So I commented underneath it and I said, LOL, like, from our neighbor? Who are you exactly? You seem to have very close details that you can't, even no matter whose theory it is, you can't say what someone was thinking or feeling, right? And this person is commenting what they were thinking and feeling. And they never commented back, but what they did do is they went in and edited that entire comment, and the one and only thing that was changed goes from our neighbor to her neighbor. And that made me feel even weird. Yeah, what was it?
A neighbor, I think.
A neighbor instead of our neighbor. And thank you so much, 2112 did another chat, guys. I'm not sure why. But that was, I should ATS. So it was weird to me because not only was it in such great detail, like I said, but that took, like, I interpreted that as, was that a slip? Like this long message where you don't even realize you ended up typing out from our neighbor. Yeah. And when addressed and questioned, you don't answer back, but you go back and you edit it and you only change that one word in that entire comment. And I don't know what, It's under my last live, so it's not on Allie's, the last one we did on here, and you'll see that it's edited if it's still there. I have the screenshots. But
Yeah, Melissa has screenshots of both versions of the comment too, before and after the edit. So,
and
don't
so the
think you're
weird
slick.
thing, yeah, it's an established account. The account has 40 something subscribers. It doesn't have anything posted on it, but you want to explain what the picture is?
I can't remember the picture now. I just remembered the thing.
The picture was like some older famous like killer, wasn't it?
yes.
Like a killer? Yeah.
Okay, so it was like an older, it's from like the World War II days, and it was this radio host that, it was like a very creepy photo that was used. It's like a well-known person, Hanaki something from like World War II, and it was this big, it had to do with, I don't remember because there were several articles, and one talked about like death and murder, but I can't remember. There was a few others talking about what do you call that, like during war when there's
War
like
crimes?
when there's like messages going out from the government that aren't true, but they're meant to be like to make things look a certain way. It was like that, like about that. We reverse image searched it.
No way.
Oh,
Hold on. Now I got to go check. I'll show you guys a screenshot because now that's going to bother me.
ooh, that just gave me the chills. That
There
freaks me out.
There was something about it that sat wrong with me, and hence why I screenshotted to begin with. And then to find out, no, it's still there. It's still there.
Propaganda.
22 hours ago, edited. It's still there. So propaganda.
Yeah, something to do with that, like this, and it was a big thing, but
Yes.
we can look at that later if you guys wanted to. But yeah.
And the name is Autumn Fragrance. And like I said, like Allie explained that photo, there is relevance to it. So I'm like, all right, this isn't an alt account, nor was it like an alt account comment. And I get many comments all of the times on different true crime lives, as I'm sure you do, Allie, where they may have the opposing opinion. But this was just so detailed and written as if it was like a firsthand experience. And then when I saw that slip, I think it was genuine. And even more so to know, they saw my comment questioning about it, and all they did was edit that one part to take out our neighbor. And I don't know what I think, but I'm curious by that. I'm very, very curious by it.
Me too, especially because they didn't respond to you at all. But they obviously read it because they changed it. So it's like, but they didn't delete their comment. They might now. I don't know, but
yeah, they might now. And yeah, Autumn Fragrance, if you end up watching this because you watched clearly the last live, I would love to hear, because that's interesting to me. I can't imagine anybody accidentally writing from our neighbor. I cannot, but I can imagine trying to write it from an outsider and having a slip in it took me 3 screenshots for that one comment to give you context of how long it is. So I could imagine more easily that a slip happened as you're trying to write it from an outside perspective.
Yep. I was going to try to pull up an article, but by the next time that we're live, I'll have the like stuff on her picture, the picture that was used. But I think you should share the screenshots at some point, Melissa, like either a community post or a little short or something. That would be cool. Like do a short.
Here, yeah, I'll just show it real quick right now, and then we could just edit this into a short. But it's I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I don't often think, when I say comments are relevant, I'm talking about like, hey, this could be someone, but it was just the way it was so detailed and written in a way that you even know what Casey was thinking. And I said in my comment back, yeah, that's a very detailed theory, but it's missing massive holes, like considering where's the abuse, right? If we are even going with Casey's narrative, none of that included the abuse. And so that threw me for a loop.
What if it was, because I know people think it could be Casey, but one of you guys just said, Aaliyah says it's Cindy. What if it was like Cindy, someone trying to, it would, not necessarily Casey, but still someone trying to, I don't know. I honestly, just let me stop, because I don't know. It could be anybody, but it's creepy.
No, but you're right, because if it were, and my screenshot doesn't have her, my other screenshots have her name in it, but this one, it got cut off because this is how long it is. Okay. But it was, so if it was Casey, I would expect to see the narrative of the parent, right? I'm sorry, with her parent, with George. It doesn't. Okay. It doesn't include that. But as you can see, look, like Casey driving around frantic, and I don't understand what the postpartum psychosis that is not going to kick in. Like, what? She was at almost 3, number one, and that doesn't, I'm not saying that that's not possible, versus it doesn't just set in after a death. That's not postpartum psychosis.
Right.
And then, like accounting for the chloroform being in the Pontiac trunk, chlorine, like hairs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But then right here, she even borrowed a shovel, in parentheses, from our neighbor to conduct a proper burial ceremony. If you go back and look at that comment right now, that is the only line that's edited. And it says from a neighbor.
Yep. Pretty crazy. And yeah, go look at the comment now and you'll see that, I don't know, man. I'm mind blown. I don't know what to think, but we'll see.
It was interesting. Yeah. Just a little, I don't know. And that's what I'm saying. It's not the first time I've gotten a long ass comment, but I've never gotten a comment where someone is detailing firsthand experiences. You can't tell me, even in a theory or your opinion, what Casey was thinking while driving around after her daughter died, right? You can't tell me that. And I wouldn't be hung up on that. It was just the from our neighbor that made me go, like a double pause, like, And then when I addressed it with them, no response, but you edited it, so you saw my comment, I don't know, just interesting.
It's super interesting. But see, if it was the thing that makes me think I don't know, it could be Casey, but the one thing that makes me wonder is, we know that even recently she has said her theory is still that her dad, was part of this.
Yeah.
And so
it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. Even with this, it doesn't incorporate Casey's own narrative. Oh, you're fine, Cece. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm so eager to get Cindy on the stand. Like, it's weird because I'm excited for every witness, but then you're like, "Ooh, I can't wait for this." But I'm enjoying the whole way there. It is more bullshit than facts, though, Natasha. It was just that from our neighbor that I was like, weird. Yeah, Pity Mama. Yep. The closest you will ever get to the truth is immediately. Whatever anyone shares, the first moments, that is the closest you will get to the truth regarding something they say.
Yeah, and then Lucid Dream says she's put out a new narrative on the documentary. So we know because of her Substack, which Melissa and I want to talk with you guys about in the future, like on our a Patreon thing about her Substacks. But that she's still sticking with that theory that her dad was part of this, and he was her abuser and stuff. So I don't know.
So interesting, but I know after tomorrow, the next time I'm going to be back is Sunday, so maybe we'll do the next episode on your channel Sunday night.
Oh yeah, if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
Me too.
So for anybody who wasn't there before this live, we were over on Allie. She had an amazing live with ATS News regarding I won't say the developments with the Watts, but there was a lot of talk about Chris Watts possibly being transferred, and the first sighting of NK since the murders, and it was really good. So definitely go check it out. And I'm really excited for Sunday and to continue with this. Is going to be a very long series, which I'm not complaining about. I'm really excited, and just to see how the jury came to the conclusion that they got, and how it could go a completely different way than you would really anticipate going into trial.
Yeah. And you know what? It is a long series, but I'm so glad that we're doing it because it's been very interesting and fun to do with you. But also, like, if we want to know all the facts, you really have to watch it all. Just like with you and the Idaho thing, like going through and making sure you're not missing anything. You're not just going on the headlines or the parts that are the biggest. You're listening. You're reading every line. You're listening to every witness. The same thing. You know what I mean? You need to see it all to know it all.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
thank
excited.
you.
And thank you for doing it with me. And yeah, I
Thank
just love
you.
you so much. And I'm going to jump down so you can say
Okay.
bye. But
I love you. Thank you.
thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So thank you all so much for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys for the support. Yes, Isabel. Yes. Yeah, me too, Coffee and Skeletons. And eventually when we get past Casey, because we're in no rush, you know, it's just continuous coverage. We think we're gonna hop into OJ too. So just be prepared. It's a lot up on the docket, but I'm enjoying it. Hey, Sin, I love you too, Kathy. So thank you so much. We will see you guys tomorrow. But for the next episode, we will be on Alex's, which is so weird for me to say, Alex Erickson's, which I call her Allie, Sunday evening. So I will see you guys over there for the next episode and back here tomorrow night. I think we're gonna do Wade emails. So hey, B Crumbs. Yeah, have a great night, everyone, and we will talk to you all soon.